Okay, so here is a second of me sharing my home practice with you. I've done this morning, a beautiful sunny day, so anytime I can get outside to practice I will. So hopefully you can hear the bird song in the background. And this one, I don't know why it's a bit blurry, but hopefully with my voiceover and what you can make out, you'll be able to follow the class. So this is just a general all-over class for stretching out, creating length and mobility. First thing in the morning, I've literally come straight from bed to do this. You can perhaps hear my voice. So we're just starting by seated and some deep breathing, especially when done outside. Pranayama is just so beneficial. So I'm taking deep ujjayi breaths and I'm counting in on a count of 8. So we'll take a deep breath in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And just come back to normal breathing. Ujjayi breath if you know this technique. If not, I will be doing a tutorial on this shortly and put it on the YouTube channel. But otherwise, if you don't know Ujjayi technique, just breathing in and out nice and deep and slow through the nose. And just feel like you're breathing in the goodness of the day, the prana, the energy of the sunshine, of the fresh air, of the bird song, filling the body, filling every cell with goodness. And breathing out anything stale, anything unwanted, anything that's no longer serving you. So we're gradually flushing clean the body. Best start to the day. Deep breaths. And then come down to lie on your back and just settle the body. Take a big stretch, big inhale to take the arms overhead, pushing the lowest ribs into the floor. Exhale to bring the right knee in towards the chest and just hug the knee in, interlacing the hands around the shin or the back of the thigh, and just rotate the ankle a few times in each direction just to get mobility in the ankle joint. Release and inhale, and as you exhale, draw the knee in again, but this time towards the armpit, so it's almost the same but just very slightly off center. And then take some circles into that hip joint, so your hands on your shin is just directing the knee or the hip around in some big circles, just again exploring the mobility of the hip joint now. So gradually waking the body up. And then just swap sides, so start by drawing left knee in towards the chest and rotating the ankle. And we're still aware of the leg that's extended down the mat. So the right leg is activated, pushing into the heel. And then inhale to ease off that stretch, taking the knee away from you. And as you exhale, draw it back in towards you, but towards the armpit now. So just slightly off center, giving that a tight squeeze. And then big circles into the hip. So you may notice everything might feel a bit stiff and clunky first in the morning. And this is totally normal, totally fine. And it just means we have to modify and perhaps not go so far with the stretches. So the morning body is inherently more stiff. Hugging both knees in towards the chest, and little circles on the sacrum, the lowest part of the spine. So there's no point being frustrated that our mobility is less than we're used to first thing in the morning, because it's just the way it is. And then reaching for a strap. I should have said you need a strap. If you don't have a strap, you can use anything, a belt or a scarf or a towel. And you can either have your left leg bent to protect the lower back, or if it feels okay on the lower back, extend it. And then we're activating both legs here, so pushing through both heels to get length and extension through the legs. If you started this and you don't have a strap to hand, you can still do this just by holding on to whichever part of the leg you can find, whether that's the thigh or the calf or maybe the foot. So we're trying to find that sweet spot here where we feel the stretch down the back of the right leg, but we can relax and breathe deeply and even smile into it. Taking hold of the strap with the right hand, use your left hand to press onto the left hip or the floor. Now the right leg can be bent or straight, and take the right leg out towards the right side. So getting a nice stretch on the inner right thigh, anchoring down the left buttock. That left hand is just helping to press that left buttock down into the mat. And deep breaths. And we're trying to relax the back through this whole sequence, even though we're holding onto the strap. Relaxed grip and trying to let the shoulder blades soften back into the mat. Inhale, use your core as you come back to the centre, so navel to the spine as you inhale the leg back to the centre. Take hold of the strap with the left hand now. Right hand is pressing onto the floor, out to the side as your anchor. And we're just bringing the foot towards the centre line here, but without lifting the right buttock off the floor. So you can even press the right hip crease down into the mat. So if you really activate the right leg, really bring the toes to the shin, stretch through the leg, you should feel a stretch down the outside of the right leg all the way down to the outer ankle, and then bringing it into a deeper stretch, so rolling passively with this. Now we're rolling onto the outside edge of the left foot as we bring the right foot all the way over to the left, and the leg can be bent or straight. If the right leg is straight, really still active in that right leg, so pushing into the heel, toes to the shin. So just be mindful here, this is quite a deep twist for the lower back, so only go as far as feels right, and if you have a block to hand you can rest the foot on a block if it's not quite to the floor, or just let it hover. Big inhale using the core, so navel to spine as you bring that leg back to the centre line, and just take a couple more breaths here, perhaps opening up the back of the knee a little bit more, drawing the foot ever so slightly closer to the face if that feels appropriate. Again, find your sweet spot of transformation, of opening. And then taking thread the needle, so take the outer right ankle onto the front of the left thigh, interlace the hands around the front of the left shin or the back of the left thigh, and draw the left knee towards you. At the same time, resisting with the right knee, so you're almost pushing the right knee away from you as you draw the left knee towards you, so we create length down the right side of the body. And then we're going to swap sides. So remember, your right leg can be bent or extended like mine, just depending how the back feels. Take the strap around the widest part of the left foot, so around the base of the toe joints. Flex the foot, toes to the shin, push through the heels and activate both legs. I love to do this sequence. It's a hamstring opening sequence first thing in the morning, or any time actually. It's one of my favourite things to do. It really does create length and transformation in the back of the body, and it's not just the legs that we're stretching here, it's also affecting the lower back. Relaxing the shoulders, the whole of the back onto the floor, breathing nice and deep. That's your check-in to see whether you're at a suitable place for your body. If you can breathe calmly and deeply, then you know you're okay. Take the right hand either out to the side or pressing onto the right hip, taking the strap ends in the left hand, and bring that left leg out towards the left side, anchoring down right buttock. So we don't want to roll so far over that the right buttock just peels off the floor. So it doesn't matter if the foot doesn't touch down, or it doesn't matter if the foot doesn't come anywhere near the floor. You want to just be feeling that stretch on the inner left thigh. And very active leg again. It's like you're trying to push the strap away with the sole of the foot. And not forgetting the right leg. Use your core control to inhale the leg back to the centre. And anchor down that left pelvis and take hold of the straps in the right hand. And just for the first few breaths, keep the left buttock glued to the floor as you just take the foot towards the centre line. Doesn't need to be far at all. And then really activate the leg. Really push that strap away with the sole of the foot. If you're not feeling anything, try bringing the foot towards the face a little bit more. Then going into our deeper spinal twist, so just roll with it. So roll onto the outer edge of the right foot as you roll to bring that left leg over towards the right. And it may or may touch down, it doesn't matter if it doesn't, you may need to bend the knee. Left arm is out to the side, and just breathe deeply. This is quite a big spinal twist, especially first thing in the morning, so go steady and use your breath to check that all is okay. Listen to the feedback of the body all the time. Breathing space into the back. Big inhale and core control to bring the leg back to the centre. Thread the needle, so outer left ankle right onto the front of the right thigh. Interlacing the hands around either right shin or back of right thigh. Draw the right knee towards you as you almost press the left knee away from you a little bit. Should be feeling a nice stretch on the outer left hip. Good to first thing in the morning get into the spine, get into the hips, get into all these like sticky points that hold tension. So Supta Baddha Konasana, taking hold of the outside edges of the feet, all the ankles. If you can't reach the feet, draw the feet towards the groin with the knees wide. And just take some breaths here. And then as a variation, keeping the knees wide, keeping hold of the feet, just bring them more so that they're above the chest or even the face, and use your arm muscles to draw the feet down towards you. Very different stretch. Take the arms out to the side into cactus position. So there's a bend at the elbows. Elbows are in line with the shoulders and the palms face up towards the sky. And then we're going to move with the breath. So as you exhale, take the knees over to the right. Inhale to the centre. Exhale to the left. We really need to use the core here, so navel's drawing back to the spine all the time. Inhale to the centre. Exhale to the right. And whenever your knees come to one side, press the opposite shoulder into the floor. So inhale, centre, exhales, knees come to the left, right shoulder presses down. Inhale, centre, exhale, right, left shoulder presses down. This time we're going to stay for a few breaths in this cross twist. So you might want to release the right hand just to rest on the outer left thigh, and you might want to just extend through the left arm and look over the left shoulder. So again, just really feeling how your back is with this, and take deep breaths into the lower back. Inflating the area around the kidneys that reside in the lower back. Use your core. Inhale, come back to the centre. Exhale, bring those knees over to the left, but anchoring down through both shoulders. Perhaps resting left hand on the outer right thigh, and perhaps looking over right shoulder if you want to spiral the twist all the way through the spine into the next spine. And then use the core to bring the knees back to the centre. Just crossing the ankles. We're going to rock up and down the spine a few times, so massaging the muscles that run along the spine. And then bringing yourself up to seated. If the rocking up the spine doesn't feel good for your back, just press your way up to seated. Find a comfortable seated position. You can be sitting on a block if the lower back is tight, and just take a very gentle twist here. Really good to twist the spine, especially first thing in the morning. So left hand to right thigh, looking over right shoulder, nice long spine out the top of the head, heavy in the pelvis. The spine is actually at its longest first thing in the morning because we've not been compressing it with standing upright, so it's actually the safest time to twist and back bend, even though it doesn't feel as good. Taking it to the other side for a few breaths, right hand onto left knee, looking over left shoulder. Deep breaths into the chest, the lower back. And coming back to the centre, find your way to tabletop position with the hands directly underneath the shoulders and the knees directly underneath the hips. And we're just going to work with the wrists, wake up the wrists, so turn the hands out to the sides of the mat and start to take cat-cow. So just using the hands in a slightly different way. So as you're inhaling, you're lifting the tailbone, dropping the belly, drawing the shoulders back, looking up. Exhale, tailbone under, stretching the skin of the back to the sky or the ceiling, drawing the chin to the chest. And then if it feels okay for your wrists, you can take them all the way around, so fingertips are pointing towards the knees, otherwise stay with them pointing to the outside of the mat. If you do a lot of vinyasa yoga, lots of downward dog, chaturangas, it's really good to stretch the wrists out like this, because we're pretty heavy on the wrists a lot of the time. So continuing with your cat-cows with your breath, mobilising the spine. One of the, again, best things to do first thing in the morning, just waking the spine up. Bring the hands back to face forward, and then we're just going to get into the hips again. So just draw circles with the hips, taking them all the way out to the side, all the way back to the feet, all the way out to the other side. Now you might want to also add the spine and the shoulders here. That's up to you. If it's too much for you to think about, just circle the hips. But if you can, just also at the same time flex the spine up and down and bend the elbows as you move around. It's almost like the less you think about this, the better. And swap directions. Just go with your intuitive way that the body wants to be moved. It's almost like the kind of snake, the reptiles that we have evolved from. So the body has this in its muscle memory. It knows how to move in a more kind of serpentine way. So just tapping into that more primal aspect of ourselves, and it feels great for the body. Finding your way into downward dog. So hands just in front of the shoulders, and lift the knees, take the hips up and back, and then walking out the feet. So lifting alternate heels, pressing through the opposite heel, just to open up the backs of the legs. Come high onto the toes, bend the knees deep and press the chest towards the thighs, keeping the hips lifted, sit bones pointing up to the sky. Keep the hips high as you stretch the heels down towards the floor. And just settle your way into downward dog. So especially first thing in the morning, you will feel more stiff. So you may need to bend the knees, even if you don't normally. Your heels might be further away from the ground. None of this matters, just modify to make it appropriate for this time of the day. And then walking the feet forward, either lots of little steps or one big step. We're going to take Padangusthasana. So hook the first two fingers and thumb around the big toe. You might need to bend the knees quite deeply here to reach the feet, and then folding in towards the shin, so you can keep the knees as bent as you need. If you're quite deep into the fold, then elbows will go wide, and you're trying to draw the shoulders back towards the waist, away from the ears. So just check the weight distribution in the feet. If you're hanging out in the heels, I always seem to do that. Just see if you can bring the weight further forward into the toes, but feeling all four corners of the feet pressing. Now Padahastasana, one at a time, lift up the soles of the feet and slide the hands underneath the feet, palms up. And again, you may need to bend the knees really deep here to do so, but really find that contact between the soles of the feet, palms of the hands, sealing the circuit of the body. So you can keep the knees bent and really press the toes down onto the hands. So this is a great stretch for the wrists again. And I just love any posture that brings the feet and the hands together. One at a time, lifting up the feet to release the hands, hands to the hips, push strongly through the legs to come up with a flat back. And I really thought I'd positioned the mat so that you'd be able to see the whole of me today, but this learning curve continues for me, so you'll just have to imagine what my hands are doing. I'll describe it as we go. Okay, so we're going to just come to Tadasana, the mountain pose. Hands by the sides, just really firm up the thighs, drawing up the kneecaps, drop the tailbone, draw the navel in, roll the shoulders back and reach through the arms into the hands. Take some deep breaths into the upper chest. So we're doing thoracic breathing. We're drawing the core in. Big inhale, take the hands above the head, palms come together above the head. Exhale, forward fold. Again, you may need to bend the knees here. Inhale, look up and lengthen the spine, hands can be on the shins. Exhale, step back to plank position, shoulders over the wrists. Now for this first one, I would recommend bringing the knees down. On an exhale, push the floor away as you lower the chest to the floor, slide the legs out, and inhale, come up to a baby cobra, drawing the shoulders back. Exhale, tuck the toes, downward dog. Slow, deep breaths in downward dog. I'm just going to do a few sun salutations to get warm. So inhale, step the feet or walk the feet forwards and look up at the top of that inhale. Exhale, fold into the shins, bending the knees as much as you need. Inhale, press through the feet, raise the hands above the head. And doing this outside is wonderful. You literally are saluting the sun. Exhale, hands to the side. Tadasana. Inhale, hands up, palms come together above the head. Little back bend if you wish. Exhale, hinge at the hips, hands down, fold the head towards the shin. Inhale, look up. Exhale, step or jump if you feel frisky. Back to plank. Take an inhale in plank, shoulders over the wrists. Exhale, elbows in, push the floor away as you lower down, chaturanga or to the mat. Inhale up to baby cobra, or if you're ready, upward dog. with the thighs off the mat, and exhale, push back, downward dog. So these sun salutations, you go at your pace. You can always lower with the knees on the floor. You can always do baby cobra instead of upward dog. Just feel what your body is up for, remembering it will be different when you're fresh out of bed. Slow deep breaths in downward dog. Firming up the thighs by drawing up on the kneecaps, drawing the navel up to the spine to hollow out the lower belly. And then walk or step or even hop the feet forward towards the hands, looking up at the top of that inhale. Exhale, folding in towards the shins. Push through the feet and inhale, raise the hands above the head, palms come together. Exhale, Tadasana, hands by the sides. And one more, inhale, hands up, palms together, above the head. Exhale, hinge, hands come down to the floor, folding in. Inhale, look up halfway, lengthen that spine. Exhale, step or jump back to plank. Big inhale there, and exhale down towards Chaturanga. Inhale to your back bend of choice, drawing the shoulder blades together, chest forward, and exhale, downward dog. So whichever sun salutation you're doing, just move with your breath rhythm. If it's different from mine, if it's slower, just respect and honour your breath and go with your breath, one movement. Slow, deep breaths in downward dog. Active hands, spreading the fingertips, pushing the palms into the mat. Deep Ujjayi breaths, or breathing through the nose if we don't do Ujjayi yet. Inhale, take the right leg up high, bend the knee, let the foot come over to the left, but square the torso to the floor, so drop the right shoulder. And then square the hips, so drop that right foot so that the right hip is level with the left and stretch it back. On an inhale, bring the knee forward towards the nose and then press the right foot between the hands, coming straight into Trikonasana, so just opening up into this side triangle position, and the right hand can be on the shin or the thigh or the floor or a block behind the foot. Straightening both legs, pressing actively through both feet and raising left hand up towards the sky. For the last couple of breaths, releasing the upper arm close to the ear, palm facing the floor. Deep breaths here. Inhale that hand up. Now inhale, coming up, windmilling the hands up and widening the stance. Same foot position but wider stance. Then exhale to bend the right knee. Knee is above the ankle or behind the ankle. Right elbow to thigh or right hand to floor if the hips allow. Left upper arm comes up and over, close to the ear, palm facing the floor. Parsvakonasana, side angle pose. And really press through, little toe edge of the right foot, reach through right fingertips. There is an option to bind if it's very available at this time of day and it feels good, just to get into the shoulders a bit more. Keep the legs exactly where you are as you lift up to Warrior Two. So this is a bit of a thigh burner transition from Parsvakonasana to Warrior Two without coming out of the legs, but just feel the burn. It's good burn. Taking the hands down, either step straight back to downward dog or come to your plank. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. So if you want to skip these little linking sequences, either come straight back to downward dog or child's pose. Inhale, left leg high, bend the knee, let the foot drop over towards the right, but square the torso to the floor, so drop that left shoulder back down. Press actively through both hands. Drop the left hip so it's level with the right and stretch the foot back, so length through the leg, point the left foot. And then bring the shoulders over the wrist. Inhale to draw that left knee through to touch the forehead, and then place it down between the hands. Straightening that leg, bringing yourself up for Trikonasana. So this time I didn't come straight into it, I came up and then went into it. Doesn't really matter, but just find your way into triangle position. Left hand onto the shin or the thigh or the floor perhaps, or a block. Right hand raising up towards the sky. So we're trying to create breadth in the chest here. For the last couple of breaths, let the upper arm come close to the ear, palm facing the floor. Inhale to windmill the hands up, widen the stance, and exhale into Parsvakonasana. Remember, you can just have the left elbow on the thigh, no problem, or hand comes to the floor. Right upper arm close to the ear, up and over, palm faces the floor. Open up the chest to the sky here. Strong in that back leg, press through little toe edge of the right foot and reach through right fingertips. Keeping the legs where they are, bring yourself up, Warrior Two. Reaching through fingertips in both directions, but releasing the shoulders away from the ears and looking over the middle left finger. And then exhale, step back again, either straight to downward dog or to your plank, lowering down to chaturanga. Inhaling to your back bend of choice. Exhale, downward dog. So we're just warming the body up for the day. Step your right foot forward and then pivot to face the left side of the mat. Keep the feet parallel, so outer edges of the feet parallel, even turning the toes in a little bit, and then fold yourself in for Prasarita Padottanasana, our wide leg forward fold. The legs might be quite bent. If you're very deep, the head is towards the floor, you can walk the hands, turn the hands the other way around and walk them through the legs. If you're not so deep, as I'm just demonstrating now, if the floor feels very far away, take a block underneath the hands, bend the knees, and then just drop the head between the upper arms. So you just make it your posture. You do not need to look like anyone else. Coming into pigeon, so turn to face the front of the mat and walk the right foot over towards the left wrist. Now you may need to use a block here or a brick underneath that right thigh or underneath the whole of the groin area. If you're tighter, bring the right foot closer to the left hip, and if you're more open, take it further forward so eventually the shin will be parallel to the front of the mat, like I'm doing. If it's available, take the hands back and just open up the front of the chest slightly, because this eventually becomes a back bend. If you feel very stable, you can take the hands off the mat, but it's not at all essential. So just for a moment we get the back bend feeling, and then we start to take the hands forward, coming into our reclining pigeon. So we're just taking the weight over the right leg, so increasing the stretch around the outer right hip. Awareness in the left foot, pressing through the top of the left foot, and just relax everything here. Relax the belly, relax the jaw. Deep breaths. Coming out back into downward dog, and maybe just lifting that right leg if that feels good, or give it a bit of a shake. And come into pigeon on the other side. Stretching right foot back, and again come into that back bend if it feels available. Even if you have to keep the fingertips close to the shin, just open the chest for a moment and look up, possibly taking the hands off if you feel stable, but please don't force it. And then come forward into our reclining version. So it might seem like pigeon's a bit of an extreme posture for first thing in the morning, but sometimes, as I say, the morning is actually quite a safe time to practice yoga, because the spine is more open. And as long as we modify appropriately for morning stiffness, we will, it's a good time to practice yoga. So after your slow deep breaths in pigeon, coming up and just extending that left foot up, giving it a shake, back to downward dog, and come down to the floor. So just in your own way, coming down onto your back, just for a little bit extra back work before Shavasana. So drawing the heels close to the buttocks, hip distance apart, and just take the hips up into a back bend of your choice. You may wish to interlace the fingers, or you may wish to hold the backs of the heels as I am. Taking some deep breaths, pushing through the feet, lifting those hips high. Deep breaths, breathing the chest to the chin. And then exhaling, just slowly releasing the spine down. Check that the whole of the back is on the floor, and extend the legs up to the ceiling for a moment, flexing the feet, and then draw the knees in. So because my camera has a 30-minute limit on the recording, until I get something else sorted out, I'm going to rush through these last twists, but you can take longer. So come into a side twist, dropping the knees over to the right, looking over the left, and just take a few more breaths than I'm taking, because I was hurrying to make sure I stayed within my 30-minute limit. But for you, take some nice slow deep breaths in a cross twist either way, and then maybe draw the knees into the chest again one more time, and then in your own way come to Shavasana, and just take this time to come to utter stillness, utter relaxation. And these moments of stillness are precious before the day begins, before we go off to work, to whatever the day is bringing to us. We've started it with a nurturing practice, deep breathing, movement, stillness, mindfulness, and you will feel this in your day, especially if this becomes more regular, a morning practice. Deeply heavy. utterly still and peaceful. And I wish you a wonderful day, whatever it brings to you. Namaste.